Hi, good afternoon. This is Peter Christopher of palmaseo.com, and I would like to just show you a few tricks that you should employ if you're coding your site to use PHP sessions. And I have written these up in my blog at my site palmaseo.com, but I'll just run through them on YouTube for you so you can see them. You may want to go take a look at my blog. Just click on palmaseo.com and then Peter's SEO blog, and you can find the page with this title and read it as well. But we'll run through the issues here, and let's start with the one that's most interesting, which is right here. This is the expiration date of the cookies that are used for my sessions. And the reason why I have this expiration date is because this is in the year 2038, and this is the largest number you can possibly put in there for your cookies to expire. And the problem is that this resolves is that with some browsers, if the user has the wrong time set on their computer, then the browser won't send your cookies to your server, and it will seem to the user like they've logged out. So just to have the even the misconfigured computer work properly, I use this number here for my cookie expiration date. Also, just to step back a second, this whole file here, this is the file that's called in the initialization phase of all my PHP scripts for that one particular application, and it has to be called before you do any references of the session variable, before you start your session. This is the way that you start your session. You need to set up a few of these variables, configuration variables, before the session start, and then there's one last cookie change afterwards. So there's the actual session start happens right here. So before we do that, what we do is we set up what's called the probability in the divisor right here. These two lines make the likelihood of a garbage cleanup on your server for cleaning up the whatever database you have set up. In my case, it's just a file in the file system, in a directory in the file system, so that an infinite number of sessions aren't saved. It's just the most recent ones. In my case, I save everything from the last 3 hours roughly. Anything older than that hasn't been active in the last 3 hours, it's deleted. It's thrown out. And every 0.1% of the calls through Apache to this application will actually do that garbage collection. So most of them won't waste their time, but 1 out of 1,000, because of the way I've set this up, will check the directory and see if there's some old stuff to throw out. I also just like to set up my session name manually, just to make sure that no configuration in the php.ini can change it to some other name. Finally, the cookie domain, I set that to a null string, and the null string is valuable and important because if you don't set that to a null string, then you risk having your cookies apply to subdomains as well, and which, at least for my application, I don't want to have these cookies be sent in for subdomains. For instance, for just the image server, I don't want to have the image server be receiving cookies. It's just a waste of bandwidth. Those are image servers never going to open up a session anyway. Okay, so that's it here. I'll just show you the directory because I've also configured the PHP to store its sessions in Linux's dev shm, and it's in this directory called PHP Session. So you set it up with the group Apache, and the permissions on there should be 770. And you can find that line in your php.ini. That's the way you set that directory up. You'll have to make sure that you recreate that when you reboot the computer in your rc.local or manually. otherwise it will be deleted. But using dev shm, that's the automatic shared memory directory for Linux, and it's going to speed up your PHP sessions if you're using them in the way that matters. Okay, so that's it for today. Just a brief overview of the PHP sessions and some tricks that I do there and that I recommend you do as well. You can go to palma-seo.com and you can find my original blog about this issue. And you can read the specifics and see the actual file at the very bottom of my session initialization. Okay, thanks a lot.